So think about your morning routine for a second. We usually treat taking care of ourselves like a mundane chore, right? Something we just begrudgingly check off our everyday to-do list so we can get on with our lives. But in today's explainer, we are unpacking a really fascinating philosophical text called The Temple of the Living God. And what is so striking about this excerpt is that it completely flips that script. It actually frames physical and mental self-care as the direct path to experiencing divinity. It literally bridges the gap between the incredibly ordinary tasks of daily life and the pursuit of a profound spiritual experience. Which immediately brings us to the core question that opens the text. How do we actually experience divinity? Now, the source notes that there's this universal human desire to connect with the power of God, to tap into something way bigger than ourselves, and to find true inner strength. But how exactly is that achieved? I mean, usually when we picture connecting with a higher power, we imagine intense meditation on a remote mountaintop, or maybe going on a silent, isolated retreat. But the answer provided here is surprisingly grounded. Honestly, it starts a lot closer to home. It turns out, the path to enlightenment might literally involve remembering to eat your vegetables. Because the text explicitly states that reaching this divine connection requires us to actively work on ourselves to become our absolute best version. It's a deeply engaged process. You don't just stumble into a profound spiritual state by accident. You can't just sit perfectly still and wait for inspiration to magically strike. You actually have to put in the deliberate, practical work to realize your true potential. In this philosophy, experiencing divinity is framed squarely as a relentless, active pursuit of personal excellence. So, what does that active work actually look like day to day? Well, the author breaks this required readiness down into 3 distinct, totally non-negotiable pillars. To be truly open to experiencing divinity, the text insists that you absolutely must be physically fit, mentally strong, and emotionally balanced. Now, these aren't presented as, just nice suggestions for a healthy lifestyle or a trendy magazine tip for a better morning routine. The source treats them as absolute prerequisites. If even one of these pillars is crumbling, the entire structure of your personal potential is compromised.
And the stakes here are actually pretty high. The crucial takeaway is that if you ignore your health and wellness, you aren't just being unhealthy or maybe a little bit lazy, you are actively denying yourself the true experience of divinity. You are deliberately blocking your own spiritual path. When you neglect your body and mind, it's like you're building a massive brick wall between yourself and the exact power you're trying to connect with. Neglecting yourself is, quite literally, denying the divine.
This brings us to what I think is the most beautiful part of the text, the central metaphor. Your physical body is described as a sacred temple, and sitting right at the very top of that temple is your mind, which the text directly compares to God. The body isn't just some biological vessel, it's considered sacred housing. And the mind isn't just a basic processing center for your daily tasks. It's elevated to this divine status. They are entirely interdependent. One absolutely relies on the other to function at its highest capacity.
Following that exact logic, the text issues a really potent warning. If you fail to take care of the body, your temple, and if you ignore the health of the mind, the God sitting at the top, you are committing a direct act of disrespect. The source specifically argues that by ignoring your wellness, you are disrespecting the very thing that God has given you. It reframes self-neglect. It's no longer just a personal failing, it's seen as a profound lack of gratitude for your very existence.
What is so fascinating about this is how it completely redefines what it means to be strong. Inner strength isn't framed as some magical given or a mysterious spiritual gift that only a lucky few are born with. Instead, it's a direct, tangible result. It's something you unlock specifically by fulfilling those self-care requirements we just talked about. Inner strength is essentially the harvest you reap when you diligently tend to your physical, mental, and emotional pillars. This all culminates in a really profound exchange of gifts outlined by the author. The text says, our life is God's gift to us, and living a life of meaning is our gift to God. Just think about that for a second. By maintaining our temple and nurturing our mind, we aren't just trying to get good test results at our next doctor's appointment. We are actually participating in a reciprocal relationship. The text suggests that the ultimate way to show gratitude for the gift of life is to infuse it with deep meaning, and we do that by stepping into our highest, healthiest potential.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final provocative thought. How are you treating your temple today? Based on everything we just explored, this isn't just a simple question about whether you managed to squeeze in a gym session or ate a salad for lunch. It is asking something much deeper, about your readiness to experience your true potential and connect with something greater.
I encourage you to reflect on your own daily self-care practices. Are they just a chore, or are they the foundational building blocks for the deeper meaning you're cultivating in your own life? Thanks so much for diving into this incredible text with me.